Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Regadon. Let's meet with Calligos. So I know this isn't intentional, but it's a nice touch that Ulfar is so far ahead of the rest of the party, because it'd be hard for a regular human to keep pace with an Astartes, even just walking. Everything happened just as Speaks-with-Gods foresaw. The Starborn are back, and with them our... Enough of your bleeding, old hag. Already told you your speech offends me so. It makes me want to cut out your tongue. Calligos waves the woman away, and turns his flinty gaze on Speaks-with-Gods. I am sick and tired of aimlessly trudging through the woods, old man. I am a hunter, and without a quarry, I turn into quite the beast. Humbly covering his eyes, the priest nods slightly. Speaks-with-Gods is ready to conduct the ritual, O Starborn. The heart of the Force is calling out to me. So let this priest serve his gods not in word, but in deed. Oh, I wonder if that's a terraforming device. It is done. This good-for-nothing psyker has finally proved himself useful. Winterscale looks around the settlement with a bored expression. I intend to have a good night's sleep and enjoy the local delicacies. One good thing about Ketsu Tamer is that the fruit here is sweeter than Calixian honey and more tender than the meat of a young grox. You should get some rest as well, Donald. And remember, it is better to go hunting when you're full of vigor, but slightly hungry. The hunger adds acuity, makes the kill more intoxicating, you know? Let me know when you're ready to depart, or if you decide to share a few stories, then come to the bonfire. It's not often that two rogue traders can indulge in confidences away from prying ears. Winterscale sardonically clicks his tongue, and nonchalantly salutes you in farewell. And we leveled up. We get a second tier archetype talent, and a skill. Let's do for the Emperor. When momentum is less than 100 points, at all costs grants momentum upon killing the marked enemy or targeting an ally. And Lore Imperium. Might do Protective Word. It scales a fellowship, but there will still be a base value. This might be worth it too. Enemies don't act before Jai does, so we usually get Argenta into the thick of things first, so it may not be that valuable. But just in case the enemy team or party gets a decent alpha strike off before we get to act, this would be useful, because Abelard goes first regardless, because of my main character. So allies affected by any of the Vanguard's abilities gain percent armor for 1 round, does not stack. It scales a fellowship though, so I don't know if I want to grab that. Maybe Protective Word instead, which also scales a fellowship. Let's do Taunting Opportunity instead, since we're kind of building towards attacks of opportunity with him anyway. So whenever the Vanguard hits an enemy with an attack of opportunity, the enemy must make a willpower resistance test. On a failed test, the Vanguard becomes this enemy's priority target until the end of the Vanguard's next turn. It's a little redundant. I'm not happy with that. Let's do Unyielding Resolve instead. While at maximum stacks of Unyielding Beacon, the Vanguard gains +7 Resolve. And Medikai. Ofar. Yeah, let's do Dependable. He has a ton of armor, we'll just lean into that a bit more. The Archmilitant gains a +2% bonus to armor for every stack of versatility. This bonus is kept when the Archmilitant uses Cautious Approach or Confident Approach, which I don't think any of my Archmilitants actually have those. What's next? I guess Carouse. Let's do Close Quarters Training. There's been a few situations where that would have come in handy. No. Let's do Focal Point. Well, no, Flashfire. I don't know, a few good options. I know I keep going back and forth. I keep seeing something else that I want. Let's do Flashfire, because we do use Wildfire a lot. So the cost of Wildfire is reduced by 1 AP for every 3 stacks of versatility instead of 4. And Medikai. So I'm assuming this works with the flame attack on his Sword of Faith. After what happened to Heinrichs in our last fight, where he got 2-shot, I'm a little concerned for his survivability now. Yeah, let's do Dependable. Or Blood Haze. Let's lean into Dodge, because he has a better dodge chance. It scales with Agility, which he doesn't have a ton of. But it's better than none, right? As long as the Archmilitant has killed at least one enemy with a melee attack this round. See, do I want to do that though? Or do I want to lean more into damage? The problem was last time he didn't even get to act because he died. Which would... Blood Haze would help anyway, because he has to act first to get this bonus. Let's just lean into more damage. I'm going to do Psychic Barrage. Whenever the Psyker uses a damaging psychic power on targets that are 6 cells or farther from the Psyker, the target suffers an additional 3 damage. And Lore Warp. always forget which one's backline and which one's rear. So backline is usually where I put Jai. Rear is the one that increases range damage. Don't know how useful this will be, but it's not awful. It's only been a handful of situations where she couldn't reach someone with her officer abilities. I think supporting zone would synchronize really well with personal combat zone. I don't know. Unlike the other companions, it's not too many good choices, it's just none really stand out to me. Alright, let's do the personal zone. So allies, including the Grand Strategist, in the same combat tactics area with the Grand Strategist, gain perception and agility. It's not a lot, but it's something. Alright. Took a little longer than I expected. So who do we need to actually talk to? I'm assuming Calligos. Speaks-with-Gods welcomes you, Starborn. His violet eyes were reverently trained on you. How can Speaks-with-Gods help you this time? Tell me about yourself, old man. Speaks-with-Gods is the name of this humble servant of the forests, rivers, and mountains. For when the two-headed eagle god speaks, the servant listens and recounts the words to his tribe, and the tribe carries out his will. The old man closes his eyes, and his body sways to the rustling of the leaves and the babbling of the stream. The servant of dreams, nightmares, and reveries can see things that others cannot see. What has transpired, what is yet to be. Your appearance in the heart of the forest, and the priest falters for a moment. The consequences it bears for Keita Temer. What consequences of my coming to this world did you see in your visions? The Sky Herald stands at the crossroads. I see all of his choices and see none of them. But this servant knows one thing clearly. Starborn must go to the Deadlands to destroy the one who should have been long dead. Suddenly, the old man throws his head back. His body shudders, and droplets of blood burst from between his clenched teeth. The sunset rays will paint the heart of the forest crimson if the darkness leaves it, and the two stars will part, then meet again. Crimson, crimson. The fading light can still be saved. The priest covers his face with his hands and breathes slowly, finally coming to his senses. Forgive the servant, Sky Herald. The waking dreams are often the most painful. Tell me about your tribe. We're the children of the Fiery Mother and the Pale Father, who look after us by day and guard us by night. The faithful servants of the two-headed eagle god who shields our lands from misfortune with his wings. We are the ungone forest-dwelling children of the earth and the guardians of the temple of Keita Temer, the first Starborn to have ever set foot on the virgin soil of this land. That's the exact same thing that... what's her face said, right? Yeah. Either my memory is as empty as an amethyst decanter after a party. I've heard this before. Tell me about leads ahead. Leads ahead is the half-sister of this servant of smoke, fire, and ash. She was the first to emerge from the mother's womb, and thus named the next ruler of the tribe. And this servant was the shield to fend off disasters from his ruler. Many years later, when the gift of the eagle god awakened inside the servant, Leads ahead named her brother the priest of her tribe. Your way of speaking is strange, just like your sister's. The young man looks down embarrassed. Forgive the servants of Caesar Tamer for their speech, O Starborn. No matter how much the ancestors tried to pass the language of the gods onto their descendants, the tribe seldom use it, for the gods only descend from their heavenly palace not more often than once in 3 life dwells. I have other questions. The servant knew that you would say that. Did the ritual truly make this forest safe? The priest nods affirmatively. The spirits from the darkness brought the fire rain down on Caesar Tamer, killing many of the tribes who had cared for the forest young and ancient. This blasphemy enraged the guardian spirits, but as soon as the servant of the wind, rain, and sand soothed them with the ritual sacrifices and divine sorcery, their wrath gave way to mercy. Did you not foresee this in your visions? Dreams come and go, Sky Herald, of the faraway stars. Sometimes the servant of the gods can understand the mystical visions of the days of old or the future, but even Speaks-with-Gods cannot fully comprehend the divine design of the two-headed eagle god. Sometimes I am blind, even when I can see. Do you know that sorcery such as yours is punishable by death in the Imperium? Let's go with option 2, actually. No, I'll go with option 1. The old man is deep in thought. Imperium. The servant of the stars, clouds, and eclipses does not know this word. The priest sorcery is a gift from the two-headed eagle god. How can his gift be condemned by mortals? You are a good man, even if you are an unsanctioned psyker. The old man smacks his lips, pleased with the praise. Blessed is a life that serves the two-headed eagle god and his sky heralds. Tell me, how did you and Winterscale survive all this time? The Starborn who carries the seal of Caesar Tamer's descendant is strong in both body and will, as befits a god. The servant, like the rest of his entourage, had grown weak on just the 7th night of our journey. But the Starborn continued to lead us fearlessly, pressing forward to seek out the spirits from the darkness, even among the twisted paths, delivering the sky's judgment. The servant of the grass, flowers, and trees regrets only the imminent death of the Starborn's companion, the one you call the Seneschal. He quarreled with the ironclad guardian, his words enraged the Starborn, and thus he slashed the unfortunate man's body up with his axe, and threw the remains to the wild animals of Caesar Tamer for them to feast on. The ironclad guardian, is that Wharton? You mean to say that Winterscale killed his Seneschal? The servant saw everything with his own 2 eyes. The old man pauses in hesitation, then continues. It is not proper, perhaps, for mere speck of dirt under the heels of a sky herald of the two-headed eagle god, to muse upon the deed. However, the servant did sense, with his entire being, the rage that possessed the Starborn at that moment, and the ironclad guardian reveled in his god's wrath. Ironclad guardian. I suppose you mean the Calligos Winterscale's arch-militant. Wharton the Great seemed dangerous to me even on our first meeting, but our time together spent wandering through the forest cemented this notion. I must take my leave. May the two-headed eagle god shelter you under his wing, O Sky Herald. Hear that, Abelard? There, watch your step.
Is there money to be made?
I can't talk to his retinue, or she who leads forward. A nice walk, wasn't it, Donald? May have helped us navigate the living forest clutches, but don't let it go to your head. I would have managed by myself sooner or later. Winterscale chuckles and repeats, sooner or later. I have some questions to ask of you. One day, you two will grow sick of all the talking, and then you two will choose shooting Xenos on a wild planet over endless intrigue. Cheerful notes ring in Calligos' voice. Fine, we have plenty of time. So be it. I'll give you a private audience. If dear Chorda knew how close-knit we had become, she'd have surely branded us conspirators. Let us discuss the Eldari problem. You care about them that much, New Blood. Calligos bellows in disdain. Go ahead, then. Try to convince me that the vile Xeno scum deserve the mercy of Calligos Winterscale. But remember, you only get one chance to try. I'm not trying to spare the Eldar. I'll go with Fellowship. Interesting. The Winterscale I've heard of would have never thrown his protectorate at Chorda so easily. Winterscale flinches as if from a blow, and doubt darkens his gaze. Testing the boundaries, are we, Donald? I like your boldness, but you shouldn't stick your head so far into the beast's throat. I shall consider your words, and that is all I shall promise. Now, stop calling me New Blood. Calligos laughs openly. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Wait around for a couple of decades, New Blood, and let others get used to you. It's not often that we have a fresh new rogue trader in our circle. I hear you have decided to oppose both the Lord Inquisitor and the Chorda dynasty. A Void Kraken may eat them both for all I care. Winterscale makes a wry face and clenches his fists in anger. Acting as if their war on heresy in the Expanse is just starting. Ha. I've been living it for decades. I don't need an inquisitorial preacher. I certainly don't need Incendio's goodwill. Tell me about Ketsa Tamer. The inquiries are curious, to be sure. Ketsa Tamer is a planet with a rather dreary backstory. A long time ago, it supplied my great-grandfather with tons of succulent fruits, and thousands of cargo containers filled with special building fiber processed from the local forests. The population all lived in large cities, a safe distance away from the tangled paths and trees. And then this quiet life was dashed by Xenos raids. They burned down the cities and shackled our people faster than our ships could help. In the end, the local governor ran away, leaving the remaining people at the beast's mercy. And the people in turn fled the big cities that attracted the Xenos. That is how the forests that the rabble feared became their salvation. The planet fell into decay. There was no one to populate the cities. There's no one to extract resources. Ketsa Tamer expected 3 new arcs filled with settlers to arrive from the Imperium. But in 500 years, not one of them has reached the Expanse. How did you survive in the forest all this time? The forests of Ketsa Tamer are not like the jungles of Catachan, New Blood. That's a famous death world. Get some very powerful Imperial Guard units from it. The only thing that could kill you here is your own stupidity, or an unfortunate coincidence in the form of a stray Xenos or a rare predator. Rainwater for breakfast, nutritious larvae for lunch, and fermented fruit in place of wine for supper. One could not wish for better hunting grounds. Calligos laughs, then falls silent, evidently unwilling to share the details. Yeah, the Catachan units are basically Rambos in space, but there's a whole planet of them. They're really cool. Also, commissars don't usually last long in their units. I've noticed that your people look utterly woebegone. Why you do not have a single scratch on you. That means that my people are weaklings, and I shall change that soon. As for me, I've been of stout constitution since the day I was born. At first, Calligos shrugs his shoulders indifferently, but after looking closer at his companions, he raises his brows in surprise. It seems that the rogue trader just realized the validity of your words. I saw the corpse of your seneschal at the forest camp. The old man was a weakling, and that's why he's dead. That's what happens when you can no longer fulfill your duty to your master. Wharton grins in contempt, his entire being expressing his disdain for the seneschal. Calligos carries himself with an air of indifference, but the sudden furrows on his forehead betrays regret. Many fine warriors have perished on this hunt. Raise a toast to their name when you can. Alright, I need just a little more time. Winterscale's gaze dulls. The thrill of the hunt is an unfamiliar concept to you, I see. Also, there's talk of a bonfire. I don't see one. Alright, I'm gonna call it here, and next time we will go with Calligos to hunt the Eldari. So I have a feeling... I suspect Wharton the Grey may be a ornate cultist, and he's corrupting Calligos. I'm guessing it's going to come to a head at some point, and either we have to fight both of them, or we can talk Calligos down and only fight Wharton. But we'll see. Either way for now, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.